Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. We got ourselves a PBC card on at the weekend. It's over in the US in San Antonio, and one of the fights on it is for the WBC interim super lightweight title. CRUZ versus Lamont Roach. Now, you know about PITBULL CRUZ. You've seen him before. He gave Gervonta Davis a good old tussle. More about Davis in a moment. A little powder keg of a guy from Mexico. He's about 5'4". Battered Rolly Romero, didn't he? Absolutely smashed him up. Poor old Rolly. That was a few fights ago. And he won a WBA 140-pound belt. I don't know whether it was of the interim variety. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But he then lost it to Jose Valenzuela in an upset. He lost a split decision. It should have been unanimous, I think. I thought Valenzuela thoroughly deserved to win that fight. And since then, PITBULL's come back with a good unanimous decision win over Angel Fierro, although he did look a little bit vulnerable in places. Fierro gave him a good argument. And PITBULL, I thought, won the fight, but there were moments where he was just getting hit too much and too cleanly. It wasn't a case of him taking the sting out of punches, but them still landing. He was hit pretty cleanly, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's all a bit, jury's still out. And of course, if you are the size of PITBULL and if you fight with that, style, which is, it's not that he's without some sort of technique, but he is, because of his dimensions, he's a come forward guy. He's got to get in close to you and let his hands go. And he's got that size disadvantage, and therefore inevitably against a slickster or a skillful guy who has got a bit of pop, he's going to get hit. He's just going to get. It's unavoidable. It's unfortunate, but that is his style, and therefore it doesn't necessarily lend it to a sort of long career. Lend itself to a long career, that type of style. But I'm not saying he's finished, not by any stretch of the imagination, and why would he be? He's only 27 years old. Hard to believe, actually. He seems to have been around a lot longer than that. But he's taking on Lamont Roach, who, again, there was a connection to Gervonta Davis, because in his last fight, Roach moved up from super feather to lightweight. He was the WBA super feather champ, and he took on the lightweight champion, who was, and I think still is, Gervonta Davis. And he should have won. He won that fight, as far as I can see. It was a majority draw, but there was a very controversial moment where Davis took a knee, and he took a knee. And he said afterwards, well, I had stuff from my hair going in my eyes. Oh, what the fuck kind of excuse is that? You took a knee, mate. It doesn't matter what you took it over. Who cares? You took a knee. You should, and the ref just let him get up again and carry on. Didn't count him. And two of the cards were 114, 114. Now, both of those cards would have been, or should have been, 114, 113, and given Roach the win. But he didn't get it, and that's unfortunate because he deserved it. So he's now moving up again for the second successive fight, moving up to another weight division to take on CRUZ. And there's no doubt that the 30-year-old Roach does have a very good chin, and he's very crafty. He's got a high ring IQ. Now, the knock against Gervonta Davis, for example, was that he didn't throw enough. He never has really thrown enough punches. He's too precise. So he gave Roach a chance to sort of think about what it was doing, counterpunch, pot shot, do his work in his own time. What's the one thing that PITBULL CRUZ does? Throws a shit ton of punches. So I don't think this will be, those two fights, the fight coming up is in any way comparable to Roach versus PITBULL. But at the same time, I wouldn't rule Roach out because, as I say, PITBULL can be hit. He does look like there's a bit of wear and tear on him, a few miles on the clock, even though he's only 27. Whereas Roach hasn't had many tough fights at all. You can argue that he hasn't faced any real killers either. I mean, he got in his last fight at 130, he fought Fergal McCrory, stopped him in 8 rounds. That was McCrory was undefeated. He also beat Hector Luis Garcia, and he had one defeat on his record. But that was a split decision win. And then you got, unanimous decision over Angel Rodriguez. He was 20-1 coming in. He goes the distance with these top guys, but then probably that's because he's not trying to knock them out. And Roach only has 10 KOs in 25 wins. And I don't think he'll go in there looking to put a dent in Pitbull. He'll go in there looking to land clean punches and pick up points, but I don't think he's daft enough to think, I'll knock this guy out. No. He's gonna go in there with a view that he's got 12 little individual contests ahead of him, and each one has to be won individually. Whereas Pitbull will go in there thinking, I've got to put the heat on someone you would assume is the naturally smaller man, smaller in terms of weight, because in actual fact, Roach is listed at 5'7", which is, I think, about 3 inches taller than Pitbull. So the question to me with this fight is, Roach is an orthodox fighter. He likes to have time to work. He can be outworked himself. He's in against another orthodox fighter, but there the similarity ends. This is a high octane, high energy, high output opponent, shorter. Has he faced, Roach I'm talking about now, has he faced people who are that much shorter than himself? Is he used to that? Has he trained for that? Because one thing that Pitbull does very well is he makes himself even smaller and then comes over the top and he's got deceptively fast hands. I mean, they're swingers, but he'll come at you, proverbial, like a cultured caveman almost. So I don't know about this. I'm not convinced the style suits Roach, but this is a difficult one to predict because the styles are so contrasting. I've got a feeling that Roach might have a couple of gears we haven't yet seen, though. And also at 30, he's probably in his prime. He's probably as good as he's going to get. And also, he will have a very high level of confidence, having got the draw, which he knows should have been a win against Tank Davis. And also, he will have learnt from that fight. I need to throw more punches. I need to be a little bit more cavalier, not stupid, but I need to just let my hands go a bit more. I've got a feeling that that Roach might win this on points. It could be very close. It could be a split decision, a majority decision. I just think that his schooling, the overall IQ, ring IQ, he's going to lose rounds on sheer work rate to Pitbull, but I've got a feeling that Roach might pinch this one on points. A close one, like a 115, 113, maybe a majority, maybe a split even. But I'm going to go for Roach to pick up the win on points. But I don't say that with immense confidence. Yeah. All right, what do you think? What do you think? Leave your comments below and let me know why you're picking fighter A or fighter B. Don't just say, I think so-and-so, and tell me why you think so. And yeah, cheers for watching the video. Hit the like button if you liked it, because they count the likes. And yeah, join us. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and we've got videos for you every day. Usually a few of them every day. All right, ladies and gents, thanks a lot. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.